This lesson is lesson 243, so if you have your book and want to open it to that, or if you need a copy of this section for tonight, I bet you Paul could get a couple of sections. I think Shelley might need one tonight. Anybody else need one? This is a great lesson to go along with 243, to go along with the lesson that we started with, or the lesson we did last week, which is what we are talking about, I will step back and let him lead the way, where it says, today, I'm going to judge nothing that occurs. I'm not going to sit, and you know, I think a lot of times we go, wow, how are we going to do that? How are we going to judge nothing that occurs? Because we are constantly filled with judgments. You know, whatever it is, I think I'm judging this, I think I'm judging that. And you know, we do judge quite a bit. But what the Course is talking about when it says judgments, it says condemnation. That's really what it's saying, that I'm not going to condemn. My judgment is not, will I wear the red scarf or the green scarf today? It's not that kind of judgment. It's the judgments that when we condemn people, that when we condemn ourselves. Those are the judgments it's really talking about. I'm not going to judge any of those things today. I'm not going to judge how I see this or how I see that. And the more that we begin to become aware of how often we judge, because we judge constantly, the more we can become tolerant even of ourselves. See, then that's what begins to happen with students of A Course in Miracles. We begin these lessons, and first off, it's all about the people out there. Okay, I'm dealing with all the people out there, how I see everybody out there. And then I quickly see, from what the Course is telling me, is how I see everybody out there is where I find my mind dwelling. So if everybody out there is irritating and unkind and unloving and judgmental and fear-orienting and all the other things that I think, oops, therefore so am I. That's how we go. We begin to think, uh-oh, what am I going to do about me? Because I'm the one that's seeing all this, so I must be dwelling in that. And that is true. So, but what that does is if we can become aware of that and not allow the ego, which is the first thing the ego wants to do is say, yeah, look how bad you are. You are awful. Look at this. Now you're looking at it and you see it and whoa, what a mess you've made. Well, look, there's no doubt we made a mess. But the way to get out of it is not by not looking at it. It's by looking at it clearly and stepping back and letting him lead the way. It's by saying, today I will judge nothing that occurs. And then the next thing you're going to do is judge yourself. Okay, are you a failure? No. You just see how much you do it. And that's good. That's a good thing. The fact that we see it, I mean, a lot of people tell me, I don't judge anybody. I don't do, and I'm going, because I'm thinking, come on, we're all judging. We maintain this world through judgment. This world would not be here if we were not holding it up. And we hold it up through our judgments. Now, that's just the reason why it's here. As the Course would say, this is an illusion. This is not real. What does that introduction say? It says, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. So the reality of us, beyond all of our judgments that we look and say, oh, look at all the judgments I'm making, that can't be threatened. It's just good to look. And nothing unreal exists. All those judgments don't even exist. That's the peace of God. Now, how do we get there? Well, we get there by looking. We don't get there by running away from the problem. We get there by looking clearly. You know, it kind of reminds me of these teachers nowadays. Like there was a guy just convicted of changing kids' grades, a teacher, because he did tutoring with the kids, and he didn't. And then the kids would take the tests, and the kids still wouldn't do very well. So he went in there to change the grades so more people would come to him for tutoring. And this was in like Corona del Mar, one of these very nice school areas. And they caught the guy. Well, they found out he did it, so then he ran away. And then he changed his name, and then he came back into the country, and they caught him. So it's like, but this is what we do. If nobody knows I'm doing it, then when I get caught, I run away. But we do this in our own lives in a lot of different ways. In our judgments and not wanting to look at this. I mean, you just look at the world, and it's an example of us. So to me, and I think more and more of this is being shown. This light we're beginning to see. So what this is saying is, look, do you judge a lot? You better believe it. Is that a bad thing? Well, we want to work on that. But can we? You bet we can. Because it's not us that's going to make the change. It's us looking at it. It's us pulling the shadow or the curtain back so we can see the darkness and shine some light on it. You got to shine some light on it. You got to let that that darkness be seen. You got to look at those judgments that are occurring in your mind. So it says, I'll be honest with myself today, and I will not think that I already know what must remain beyond my own present grasp. A judgment says, I already know. Judgment says, I know that I'm bad, I know that you're bad. No, you don't know. A judgment says, when I look at the world, oh, this would be so much better. Can you imagine this? I always watch the presidential campaigns. They're all talking, this is what I would do, this is what I would do, if you can get them to say what they'll do. When they tell you, this is what I do on foreign policy, this is what I do with on unemployment, this is what I would do for X, Y, Z. Like I said, if you can get them to actually put their positions out, they'll say what they believe, okay? And you hear this all the time. They're always condemning the current president. I mean, that's just politics, right? That's been since George Washington's day. So this is not anything new. But when they get to be president, this very elite club, and when they become ex-presidents, you don't see the partisanship, do you? You see all of them sitting together. You see Bill Clinton with George Bush, George H, and H, both of them, H and W, H, W, and W. I can't. Well, anyway, the two Bushes. You know, you see them all, and when they campaigned, they weren't. But now, after the fact, you all see them. It's almost like a knowing. It's not as easy as I thought. It's easy to judge, but once you've been in that position where you see everything that none of us ever see, they kind of all go, it's a lot tougher. A lot tougher. When you have never had kids, and you go and you see kids acting up in the grocery store, and a poor mother just standing there, and the kid's going crazy, and you go, why can't that mother control that child? Then you have your own kids, and you go, I know why she can't control that. You know, we all sit with that knowing nod. Or maybe you're an artist, you know, and you look at other people and you think, why can't they do eyes well? And then you start doing art and you go, eyes are the hardest things to do. I see why those. See why, what was the guy who made all the strange one? Dolly had weird eyes melting. You know, it's better than trying to make real eyes. You know, they look more realistic. Yeah. But I mean, when we sit in the position, we begin to understand. We have an understanding about things that we never had before. And so what this is saying is, look, we've all made judgments. We're making them right now. But let's look at them so that they can be healed. Let's not look at them and go, what a mess I've made of the world, what a mess I've made of my life, because that's what the ego wants us to do. What we want to do is look so that they can be healed. And recognize that the judgments come from this concept that we think we know, so we can make a judgment. And this says, I'm not going to be able to make a judgment from really what is beyond my grasp. I really don't know. I think I know, but I really don't know about other people or even about myself. Haven't you ever said, I really don't even know myself? You know, as you get older and you realize, I don't even know who I am. You know, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, you think, I'm going to explore, I'm going to figure out who I am. And then you think sometimes in your 30s or 40s you know who you are. When you get to be 50, you go, I didn't even know who I was. I can't even recognize the person I was at 20. I go back and look at that person and go, I guess that was me. But I'm so different than I was at that age. I mean, we look and we see how different we are. So it says, I will not think that I understand the whole, who and what I really am, who and what anybody is, from bits of my perception, which are really all I can see, just bits and pieces of things. I really never know the whole. So today I recognize that this is so. Now again, this does not mean that you can't decide to buy this insurance instead of that insurance, or that you cannot go to the store and buy this outfit instead of that outfit. This is talking about condemning thoughts. You know, and it's very easy for us to condemn ourselves or others. Those condemning thoughts keep us locked into a world that is fearful, attacking, and judgmental, and where we cannot hear the voice for God. So when we say, why can't I hear the voice for God? It's because we do not choose to hear the voice for God. Because we value something more than the voice for God. We value our judgments. We value our condemning thoughts towards ourselves or towards others. And the more that we begin to allow that to be seen, and allow Him to heal that for us, the more clearly we begin to see, the more clearly we begin to heal, the more clearly we begin to experience the peace of God that is right here now in this situation, in this circumstances. So today I recognize that I don't know what anything means, that I cannot judge from bits and pieces of perception. And so I am relieved of judgments that I cannot make. I cannot make these judgments. Thus do I free myself and what I look upon to be in peace as God created me.